Hi everyone. This is day 2 of seeking treatment in India, Apollo Hospital. So today was arrest day. Yesterday, we arrived on Saturday, and we arrived at 4 a.m. and we were in hospital, and we started the process of getting the tests done. It's in the oncologist and all that. So then today was going to be a rest day, where we'd spend the day just chilling and just sleeping off the effects of travel, and then do a little bit of shopping for water and soaps and stuff. We're still at the hotel. We are looking to move. Where are we moving?
To a house, a rental house, an Airbnb where we'll be able to cook for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because to make the whole experience affordable.
Yeah, eating out is bloody expensive.
And you don't know what you're. There's some hotels where you cannot just eat.
Oh yeah, and also because the whole point of getting here is about recovery. So the only way to control also what it is that we are eating, or rather what Simone is eating, is by cooking it for ourselves. So that's why we are moving. Yeah, that and the cost, and then of course it means that we can buy our own fresh veggies and fruit and all the things that we need that you can't get in a restaurant. So yeah, we're moving tomorrow afternoon after the PET scan. The PET MRI is done. So yeah, we'll get that done tomorrow. So yeah, so we have help with the process of moving, so that's awesome. The our hospital guide, Ayan, has been helping us. So he got us this place, and there's a couple of places that he's gotten also for moving to, so that we'll have a look at them tomorrow. But as we said yesterday, that our experience here would not have been the way it has been without his help. I mean, trying to figure out things on your own is hella difficult when you're in a new country with someone who's unwell, and a very, very short time period to get everything done by, to figure out where the houses are coming from and all those things. So having Ayan with us has been very, very valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Joan Gomi from Grandma's Adventures channel. Welcome. I welcome our viewers. I have accompanied my daughter Sheila, and we brought Simone, although even Sheila needs some treatment. And yeah, we are starting to feel settled. We are not as sleepy as we were yesterday evening. So we are looking forward to tomorrow to go back to the hospital and continue with what brought us here. But we just want to share with our viewers about today's experience in India, because we said we want to make it an adventure. It might not really be an adventure, but we want to encourage ourselves. We don't want to be so distressed. We don't want to be discouraged. We want to keep our spirits high, so that the experience will be a lot easier. So maybe you can tell us how you found today.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Spend most of the day asleep. Okay, not really asleep, but just chilling in the room and talking. And then we got ready to go out and have something to eat around 4-ish. So we started off at a small kibanda. Okay, small
Kiosk?
No, it wasn't a kiosk.
Restaurant?
Restaurant. Like corner street restaurant.
Yeah, it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant.
Anyway, and Joan didn't think that there was anything clean there.
I feared. The plates looked like they're plastic.
Chili wasn't that bad.
And I was wondering that whether it would be clean. But finally, when they served us with some garlic
Garlic naan.
naan.
Yes.
The names are strange to me. That is just a chapati that was smeared with garlic, but they brought
And
it in
butter.
the right.
Garlic butter naan.
But they brought it in the right utensils. You know, it was clean. It was what? Stainless steel, yes.
Oh, so the thing is, you'd planned on not eating anything because, not clean. And then the
Right.
garlic naan arrived and she's like, oh. And there went the garlic naan. So you had to order another 2 pieces. And then the tea is, well,
Good.
Indian chai
Really
is
true.
really
Little.
good. But you know how we're used to having mugs? This is little tiny cups like this. And they're made out of clay.
A quarter
Which
of
is-
glass of a glass.
Just like a, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's a
I
quarter.
think so.
It's
It's
a
a
quarter
quarter,
mug.
really.
It's a quarter of a mug of tea, and it really tiny. Oh man, it was really. It was. I think it was pretty. And the clay cups, literal clay cups.
It makes me feel like we eat a lot.
I think we do.
Surely.
I mean,
we take a mug of tea,
Yeah, I think we
not
do.
a
We
quarter of
definitely-
it. Yeah, it's discouraging. And,
we do,
okay,
we
maybe
do.
it's good for our health. Maybe that's why we are seeking treatment here because we eat it.
that was a quarter cup of strong
Quarter.
tea that is
Yeah.
very, very sweet.
to the nuts.
Anyway, so but that wasn't going to cut as in do anything for. We hadn't had a meal in over
From yesterday at 4 again.
16. That's 24 hours.
Almost, yeah, 24
That was
hours.
24 hours
Mm.
prior,
Mm.
so we definitely needed to get something to eat. So we went to the hospital. The hospital has 3 restaurants inside it, and one is called Healthy Bites. We've got lots of salads in there, so that's why we went to. Had a good healthy meal, and then decided that after that we were going to go shopping. We kinda, Simon and I got kinda waylaid by the dogs that at the hospital. We found another 3 dogs. 4 dogs or 4? Oh, awesome! They're so pretty. And we spent some time just saying hello and playing a bit. And then we remembered, because we forgotten that mom was around. Literally, as in for me, she disappeared in my mind. We just went to play with the dogs. And then somewhere like, oh crap, she's waiting. So we were looking for her and found her at the gate of the hospital. And just looking at the traffic, and she looked like she was about to cross the road and leave us behind. So we crossed over to the other side, and went to it's called Pacific Mall. It's just where the Jasola metro stops at. So it's your regular. It's just like what? Like Junction Mall, really. It's actually similar. Yeah, lots of luxury goods shops, and
It looked more of a clothes shop
yeah,
than what we were looking for. We are looking for a supermarket as we know it, and in our supermarkets we are used to having clothing maybe
on the top floor.
yeah, top floor something. So it was hard to look for salt, to look for fruits, to look for vegetables, to look for water, tissue, paper. Well, we are looking for the kind of supermarkets we are used to, but it was different. And
Yeah, it's not a large supermarket, actually, that's one. It's not a large supermarket, but, and then there's also the thing that with that particular market, there's a membership thing. It's like a club membership that allows you to buy the items that are on sale at a much cheaper price, because they kept having two prices, which is fine, but the help that you got inside the store around the shelves was fine also. You did get the help that you needed. All hell broke loose. Okay, that's drama, but all hell broke loose when we got to the cashier point to pay. The place is full, and then the queues are not moving. At some point, you stand in a queue and have someone else cut in front of you. People are standing around. Guys have got ice cream. You know, it's like a social event because the cashiers are talking to each other and to someone else. And then you've got, but then the area where you've got the healthcare, the help desk, nobody was there. So things were not moving. And then when we, as we're getting closer, that was about 40 minutes, almost 50, almost an hour of standing and waiting for our turn. We get there just before one other person is being served by a very slow moving cashier. He actually left his post to go get, and there's people in the shelves by there to do that for him. He left his post, went to get a plastic file for a customer, and he was gone for a good 15 minutes while we stood there and waited for him to go do his thing. So, and he could easily have, you know, handed it over the way we do at home. He hands it over to someone to go check for him while he deals with the clients, the customers, that is. So then we stand, we wait, and then just when we are just one person, and that's been now full hour of waiting, he goes, cash or card? You know, like, cash. Let's go to the other one at the very end. So now we look at it and go, ah crap, that's another queue to join. So we go over, join the queue. And then as we're getting closer, the guy who's also been doing the exact same thing, taking his sweet time. It's like he scans, the scanning is wrong, he has to make changes, he has to send it out. And then, so when he finally brings it, he's like, but we don't do that. I think that's the point at which I lost it. I lost it, if I had it, I gave it away. And I can count the number of times I've yelled in a house, in a supermarket.
When your hair decided to
at some point I was just like, oh God no, I was so pissed. And so yes, I know there's no point getting pissed off at the cashiers for something. But the inefficiency is not just theirs. They're just being themselves. It's the management that ought to have, if you're going to use online systems, then you have to be efficient. That you have to have your materials scanned right. It's like people are just there to see each other, talk to each other, and then all the guys who are in the queue are just there. Nobody's complaining, nobody's saying anything, and the place is so packed. I mean, heck, that's how you pass COVID to each other. And then you've got, you know, there you're standing and someone else is right up against you, and I'm like, why are you pushing? As in, the word excuse if you're going somewhere.
Do you think that's about your expectation?
This is cultural maneno, because I can't think why it is that I would come up against someone and keep pushing them instead of saying, excuse me, let me pass by.
Cultural differences.
It's also just so full, maybe. It's not a large place. So I guess, you see, because they're not dealing with people, all the other people who have been shopping are now all of them now coming to this bottleneck that at the cashiers. And every single cashier point, I think there were maybe 6, everything was at a slow, very, very slow movement. Things weren't moving. And then you think someone has been completed, the whole experience is done, then you find that something's like their version of M-Pesa has hung, and then you have to wait, and then you have to redo things again, and then you put to someone had paid for something, then they have to go back for something else. So you think someone is done and realize that they're not. So at that point I was like, what the hell is this now? Which is a cash counter? You told us at the very end, we went and stood for another hour, and then you tell us that this is not cash, this is only card only. Oh my
I'm hearing you talk about
yes.
The inefficiency, but at the same time you're also talking about it's like a social place where
there's a social bit.
There are members, I don't know, membership club or whatever.
But people also had come with maybe like with friends, and you've got family, women or parents with their children. There's that.
They're not complaining.
No, there was. Because I counted 3 people. One person who the thing he brought that was supposed to have been scanned was not scanned, so then it had no price on it. It was a coconut. Then he himself has to take it back, and then come back with another one and that one still is. And you see the way we, let's just say, Naivas or any other supermarket that sells fresh produce will have someone who will bag it for you and scan it. That was one person. There's a person behind us. There was that one guy with. There were people, but they were keeping their complaints on the down low. Because when you look at the cashiers are having the time of their
They are
life.
standing. The
Standing.
cashier is working or standing because
But
they are
he's
not
having
they are not
the
receiving
time.
any cash. Remember?
And he's having the time of his life because you could see them talking to each other. These shelf guys come from outside, they stand, they talk, they laugh. And while they're laughing and talking, we the customers are just watching them. And we're like, but how can you be standing and talking and chilling and whatnot, and you're not getting whatever it is you're supposed to be doing done? They're just standing. And then here's the thing, after I wrote that, I hope it's sufficiently scathing review, I found that I'm not the only one. When I looked at their reviews, I'm not the only one who's
You wrote
complaining. On Google.
Oh, you complained.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yes.
Expecting to
I don't know.
expose them? Or
I don't know. They
was
do
that
read.
a way of dealing with your anger?
Yes, and they do read their reviews because I've seen them reply to other guys. So
But
it's like
in
this
Indian
one
language that you can't read.
in English.
Oh, in English, okay.
So then what I basically did, either way they will see it, and hopefully they will fix whatever issues are going on, because this is most definitely not just systemic, in that the systems they're using are slow and they kept hanging, maybe because it's a Sunday and people we've got large amounts of people who've come in shopping. It kind of makes sense because it's a mall, but also it is also cultural workplace manenos, not culture Indian nini. That is workplace manenos, because you've got. I remember seeing supervisor when we were, I think at the point we were looking for the toilet paper, and I remember seeing a supervisor at a shelf, but then everything is going wrong at the front. He's not where he's supposed to be. The guys who are supposed to be at the help desk had disappeared. Like when you go to Naivas in the middle, like around 7, you won't find anyone at the shelf, so you have to go hunting for help. So those guys had disappeared. So it is their organizational issues.
I agree with all what you're saying, but on the other hand, I'm thinking about the way we are being treated at the hospital, because they call it medical tourism. So they are treating us very nicely, with respect. They are spending the wrist time. So maybe with that expectation, you went to a supermarket where they don't care who is in the supermarket. They don't know you have come here. You are sick. You have come here to seek medical help. So then they just doing their own thing the way they do it. But with us, with our expectation, because we have been treated nicely at the hospital, maybe that comparison also made us angry very quickly.
Because I've been to other supermarkets in India and other places, and nobody, heck, even, I'm sorry to say this, even in the chillest places, like even in Tanzania, because Tanzania is a really chill place, people don't stand and talk and chill at the cashier, where you, the customers, are having to wait on the cashiers to continue to complete having their conversation and laughter to be served. It doesn't work like that.
So do you go to that
place?
mall?
Hell no. There are other places to go to, where there are other supermarkets where, and I've been to others in India, where people pay attention to what it is they're doing. Get the people moving, pay, they go. But it's a Sunday, so maybe there's no one supervising, and so things were at a standstill.
Then you met MK.
Oh yeah, but the thing that we got help regardless. So at the point at which I had lost my cool completely, the person who was right behind us says, "You know what? I'll pay for you, and then you can pay me back." And I was like really, really grateful, because I couldn't have imagined that we have to go back to another one. And or our other alternatives, we leave those things that we needed, and then we have to go find another supermarket. And the question is, where do we even start? So that was one really bright experience out of all that, and I was
So you're
really
saying
grateful for that.
someone volunteered to use his card and
Yeah,
pay
that's what he
him
did. He saved
cash,
the situation.
I mean, yeah, they are good. They are still good people.
I mean, obvious, there are many.
Wherever
It's
you go, they are good
just a
people.
bunch of unsupervised idiots, and people. You don't supervise people. People pull stands, and those ones are pulling stand openly. So it is definitely an organizational issue. That particular organization's
I
issue.
agree. It was not a good experience.
So
It was not a good experience. You can't wait for 2 hours to pay a cashier. You move from this counter, you go to the next one, you go to a third one, and even the third one, you are being told you can't pay cash. And they have not indicated anywhere that
there's no
this is a
signage
counter
anywhere.
where you pay, if you are paying cash, come here. Anyway,
So
it's an
that
experience.
particular, so
It's our
just in
experience.
case,
Yeah.
Sunday PM, that's also Sunday afternoon, if you're going to shop, if you've come to Apollo and you need to shop, and you're going to go to Pacific Mall, which is just right opposite Apollo Hospital, because it's the closest place to go shopping. Please don't go on a Sunday afternoon. Do your shopping in the middle of the week as early as possible in the day as you can, because I suspect then there are fewer people, especially if it's in the middle of the week. On a weekday, do your shopping earlier. Also, ask before you pay. Before you even start shopping, where is the cash counter? Likely there isn't any, but just check first before you have done all your shopping. Then you come in at the front and find that you can't pay for it. So that's the thing for that particular place. It's the Derika Hypermart inside Pacific Mall, Jasola Metro, opposite Apollo Hospital. Just don't bother going there. There are other places where things move.
Obvious, we are saying we are at we have come to Apollo Hospital in New Delhi, and that was our experience today. And we had to take a tuk-tuk back home. It was very interesting also because everybody wanted to, just the way our matatus do.
Oh yeah, it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the way they fight for. Hey, I'll charge you $100 rupees.
Yeah.
I'm saying we should pay 60 rupees. I was just amused all through because the guy is saying no, this is night, and they don't know English a lot, so night is not. We had paid 60 rupees while going, but they wanted to charge us 100. But the guy kept talking about, hey, take my number, I'll take you to the, which is really helpful. That's the bit that I like. These people know how to do business. They have given us his number. He will take us to the market. He has already told us where to get the fish, which is fresh and cheap, and where to get our vegetables and our fruits. So we'll call MK maybe when we are moving tomorrow, to help us with our moving. Although we don't have much anyway, it's only our bags and our box. And he will take us to the market so that we can go buy whatever we need to be cooking for ourselves, because we need to eat fresh food and we need to keep it affordable. We can't afford to eat in hotels and I don't want to call them kiosks because maybe they look a bit bigger than our kiosks, and they also seem to look very serious businesses. I like the way the owner is just sitting there receiving money. So it's not like he's leaving his workers to just take money. So they are serious with business. I like the way they know how to do business. Immediately you come across somebody, especially in the transport business, they give you their card. When you need a taxi, call us. When you need a tuk-tuk, call us. When you need, what else? There was another special kind of a tuk-tuk that looked like a pickup.
Yeah, there are two
with
types.
A cover. Yeah.
That one has more space than the regular Kenyan tuk-tuks.
And it's open on the side, so. Because it's hot. Actually, it's hot in India right now. They're in their summer, so the degrees are going from like 32 to 39 to 40 degrees.
Actually, it's not summer, it's monsoon.
Oh, monsoon, I don't know.
So it's hot and rainy. It's not raining as much as I thought it would be, but this is supposed to be the rainy season.
Remember they said
rainy season.
they have floods in
Yeah, they
Delhi?
have
Flash
old,
floods.
yeah, in the old Delhi section, it's flooded, but you know, it happens. So on this side of Delhi, it's dry, but it's also not raining as much as I've seen it do.
Yeah, so that was our experience today. We plan to sleep early today so that we can wake up early to go, because we are supposed to go for the test at 8, and we will need to have rested properly. Simone is supposed to have drunk a lot of water. She was told from now, this time up to morning, she should continue drinking water and not eat any food. So we need to give her support and ensure she's taking the water she's required to. And we look forward to another, experience of tomorrow. We are still praying that it shall go well. We don't want to come all this way for nothing. We trust God that all will be well, that she'll be treated, and we shall come back home as soon as possible. That's our prayer. 2-3 weeks, we come back. But it's just a prayer. God has the final word. He knows how long we will be here. And for our friends, our relatives back in Kenya, we still appealing that you continue praying for us. It's not easy. This time we don't have very many Kenyans. We have not seen very many Kenyans
Yeah, that's true.
at the hospital. I know it's becoming expensive, more expensive than it has been in the past. The dollar is really scarce and very, very expensive. So we don't want to take any more time.
I've not met another Kenyan. We've met a Ugandan family. Maybe one, I've only seen
Nigerian.
one other, maybe
Nigerian.
Nigerian. There's a Ghanaian. This is like the guys in the international. So when you look at the people who are in the international patients lounge, the diversity that was there 10 years ago is not. There are far fewer people in the patient lounge than were there. And it's not just Africans, but also there used to be Americans as well, Hakuna. There used to be guys coming in from China, from Thailand. Not only one here, one there. So
yeah, maybe our healthcare has also improved.
it's possible, yeah.
Because I don't know.
I think it has, because when you look at the fact that there is the PET scan at Kenyatta University Referral Hospital, and the other one that's at Aga Khan, so there are people who would have come to India who are getting to have to use those two machinery equipment there, so that does reduce the number of people who've needed to come this way.
But do you think, cancer is a disease is getting, more in our country, or what is happening really? We have more cancer patients in Kenya, or as compared to the past? Or
I think we are talking about it more, these better ways of screening, because people would have just quietly or not so quietly died as it used to happen in the past, in our past as a world, not just Kenya. But now we have earlier screenings. If you compare how many people now die, and this is from a non-medical person, how many people die from cervical cancer or breast cancer in comparison to what it was like in the 50s and 60s and 1800s. We would have had a lot more people dying then without even knowing what it is that's killing them or knowing what to do about it. And so now we've been talking about earlier screening. We've got the HPV vaccinations, and so there's a lot more awareness now than there ever was at any point in our past. And so there are those who will say that we've got a lot more cancer diagnosis, which means it's lifestyle illnesses and whatnot. But I'd also say there's a lot more awareness.
Okay, awareness, but I didn't have to hear much about cancer with the young, like our granddaughter Simone. So
It was there.
it
We
might have
just
been
didn't
there,
know
but
what it was that was having someone be sick. Like, I mean, if it,
okay,
if
I
it,
remember a boy I was teaching Sunday school some years back who died at the age of about 10, and I remember getting very shocked because it was surprising to me. So I don't know. We don't.
I know we like to romanticize our past and say, you know, people ate better, slept better, did all those things better. No, each each decade has had its own issues. So it's not that people, but people were dying, and actually even a lot more than they were. How many children, for example, did Shosho give birth to, and that lived, or even your own grandmother that
Own
gave birth to,
grandmother.
that lived to adulthood, and then adulthood all the way to the old and a ripe old age of, let's say, 80, 90. How many actually got there? People, and this was, you could even say even before we were colonized. So let's take out the you know, the British or the white man coming to Africa. People were dying early. If you got to 50, you've reached a ripe old age, and that's around the world too.
So your feeling is that things are a lot better now?
We are living longer because of medical and scientific advancements, but and that we had our lives all new, we lived in a happy utopia. No, we didn't.
So you are encouraging us to keep going and not be discouraged?
Yeah, because illness is what happens when you live inside a human body. It's not a machine. You're born with genetical issues where we don't know what to do about it. For example, you have someone whose grandmother, mother, aunts have all developed breast cancer, and so there's a genetic disposition to that. What do you do in such a situation? Is it what you eat? I mean, you can get your breasts removed to try and save your life, but besides that, who do you blame?
How do you feel about people who spiritualize illnesses, and they want to say that you know, maybe you have this disease or these diseases in a family because there was...
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Two things. One, it is one of the most hurtful things to tell someone, to blame someone who is unwell, who is possibly have done everything they absolutely know to do, including medical wise and following every other cure that exists, to be told by someone who does not have the same condition, is not living in the same pain and discomfort and a reduced quality of life, that it is somehow their fault, something they did.
Their forefathers'
Yes.
faults.
Now, the tendency to look for fault finding is human. We want to know what happened, because we think if we know what happened, we can fix it. It's like go back and fix it. That doesn't normally, it doesn't work like that. But when we when we spiritualize illness, you are not helping the person who's unwell, and the person who's unwell themselves, who are doing it to themselves. It's just more to carry, more pain, more shame, because you think this is deserved, or you don't know if this is deserved. So it's a very painful place to be in.
How do you feel about a God who will punish a child for the sins of the forefathers?
See, that's a part that makes no sense.
Yeah.
This God who's
Is
gracious
God a
and
loving
merciful
God?
and who loves us regardless. Because if God loves us unconditionally, it means there is no condition. So if we are loved unconditionally, but then you say, oh my gosh, this is an 8-year-old who has cancer. What did that 8-year-old do to deserve this?
Or even 1 month old, or even 1 day or 2 days. children are born with defects.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And so then, because people cannot equate this all-loving God with pain, then we tell ourselves that there must be something we've done or was done in our past by our forefathers. And so the thing is, either way, you're trying to contain this being that is uncontainable, to try and understand this being that is ununderstandable. There's no way you're going to know and in any case, even if you know the why, is that going to fix them here and now? It's the thing that's happening here and now.
I thought God is, he said, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, it is all done, it's over. So are we forgiven for our sins and our forefathers' sins? Is it all done? Or are we still carrying the burden of our sins? Are we being punished? Or it's confusing. I find it confusing.
My belief system is that it's not punishment, but each person, nobody when we are born on this planet is assured of a life that is just nothing going on in their lives. Everybody, even those ones who are born into wealthy families and have lived sun-kissed lives and have everything also have their own challenges, because even having everything is a challenge in and of itself. So everybody's here to work through something and experiences something. And I believe that, because I've seen it with my own experiences and with others, and what we say that insight is 2020. We actually see the answers when we look back. We're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But here's the thing, you're never ever given more than you can handle. And before you even given whatever it is you're handling, the things you needed already exist. For example, before Chichi,
Simone.
Nicknamed Chichi, before Simone was even born or even got to the place where the tumor is growing, the doctors who she's now getting to already existed, have trained, have been doing all the stuff that they're doing to get to the point where they can see her now. And it's not all for her. I'm just saying, before she had this challenge coming up for her, the solutions already existed. So we are never given more than we can handle, even when we truly feel that we can't handle it. It is not more than we can handle, and the resources and the solutions exist even before we actually find ourselves in that challenge. And for me, that was something that I read way years before she was even born, actually 3 days prior to her birth, in Friendship with God by Neil Donald Walsh. That book changed my life.
What is it that you read?
In Friendship with God by Neil Donald Walsh. Friendship with God is not a Christian book at all. But it is a book that he actually writes it at the back. He says,
but
this
God is not Christian, God is
yes,
universal.
Exactly. And he says that this is a dangerous book because it will change the way in which you see your relationship, your friendship with God. Because God is neither, we think God is bound by Christianity, but God is everywhere. And our scientists are saying that they're discovering planets that have been in existence before even we had the knowledge, the technology to even perceive of them. And those planets are so different from this particular planet. And God is still creating. When you look at a being that is still creating other planets and universes and galaxies, and then you say God is not Christian. God is more than that.
We need to end this video.
Yeah, I get carried away when we get to that.
We need to end this video. I think you have another video where you are explaining to us more about what you read. But can you say it in simple words? What is it that you read about just before you got Simone? What is it that you read in that book? I know I have read it also. The book is Friendship with God
by Neil
By
Donald
Neil,
Walsh.
yes. What is it that you read? And that
It
you
says
feel changed your thinking about
before,
God?
even before,
Mhm.
it was an
Say it
expansion of
simply.
ask and you shall receive.
Mhm.
So in the
Ask
book,
and
God
you
is
shall.
explaining
Mhm.
that even before the problem that you're currently struggling with
Mhm.
has existed for you,
Mhm.
the answer already existed.
Mhm.
So you've just come upon this challenge,
Mhm.
but the solution to this challenge existed even before that challenge occurred for you. The solutions have always been there. So God has always
So
had
that-
those solutions for
So
you.
that increased your faith in God?
Yeah, made my life so much easier.
Because if it's about asking God,
And trusting
and
that.
He knew it before it happened,
Yeah.
then
So God is not surprised.
yeah.
God is not going, oh my gosh.
But He's allowing it in our lives,
Yes.
and
For a reason.
mm.
And also in the friendship with God, also God says, just because you do not know what the reason is for something happening does not mean that there
There's
isn't
no reason.
a reason.
I agree.
It's the same thing we do with our children.
Yeah.
We tell them not to do A or B or C and they don't understand it. But just because they don't understand it doesn't mean that we, the parents, have no reason. It's only much later as adults or even teenagers they now finally understand why.
Yeah.
So
I think we ended there. We will continue with Grandma's adventures.
and
we-
grandchildren's adventures.
Yes, we were not happy at the supermarket, but it has ended up being a lively conversation, and I think you are feeling better now after talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
it's an experience.
it's okay.
It's experience. It's
just
the
how
way
things
it
work
goes.
out. Yeah, it's okay.
So thank you. Have a good night. We are 2.5 hours ahead of Kenya, and we need to sleep. I know it's a bit early in Kenya, but thank you for
Oh wow, it's 11.
thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing us. Keep viewing, keep liking, keep subscribing to Gladma's Adventures, and sharing with your friends. We hope to bring more of India, especially the hospital experiences, to you, because they say traveling is knowing. It's like a saying in my mother tongue. So thank you and have a good night.